Most football players earn a lot of money and spend it honestly after the end of their career, but there are those who have increased their fortune outside the football field and became even richer. This is Ole, and this is 8 players who became rich after football career. Tim Brown. This New Zealand player had a pretty regular career, mostly played in the US and Australia, also captained the national team at Confederation Cup in 2009 and played at 2010 World Cup in South Africa. In 2012, he announced his retirement from professional football in order to commence a master's degree in management at London School of Economics, which he graduated with honors. After he finished it, Tim decided to develop sneakers, as he did not like that there were no minimalist, comfortable sneakers made of natural materials. He decided to use sheep's wool fibers for sneakers, for which he received a grant of $200,000 from the Ministry of Agriculture of New Zealand. After that, his professor at the London School of Economics suggested trying to run a Kickstarter fundraising campaign, which he did and turned into a huge success. One of the buyers from this campaign was businessman Joe Zwillinger, who saw the potential in Tim's product, and in 2015 they founded Allbirds, and in the first month they made $1 million and earned $16 million in a year. Now Tim's company is estimated at $6 billion, and his personal income has become more than what he earned during his football career. Bjørn Gulden. He had a promising career and played for Norwegian clubs like Strømsgodset, Bryn, and in Germany for FC Nürnberg, where he didn't play much, but his career was ruined by knee injury, and at the age of 23 he retired. After that he went to university to study business administration in Norway, but later moved to the US, where he studied at Babson College in Boston, where he got his MBA degree. He worked at small companies in managerial positions, and in 1993 he was invited to work for Helly Hansen, and 2 years later he worked for Adidas, where over time he became vice president in the category of shoes, clothing, and accessories. From 2000 to 2010 he was the managing director of shoe retail Deichmann. In 2012 he worked for the jewelry company Pandora, and from there he was invited to work at Puma as CEO. Before he came, the company's profit fell every year, but since he became CEO, Puma's income doubled and operating profit increased 6 times. How did he do it? He brought it back to the sports segment, as before that, former CEOs presented their products for lifestyle only. In order to attract more buyers, Puma has signed sponsorship agreements with many famous clubs such as Arsenal, Manchester City, AC Milan, and the national teams of Italy and Switzerland. In the end of 2022, he decided to leave his CEO position at Puma and rejoin Adidas as CEO of the company. Demy de Zeeuw. He was a regular Dutch midfielder who used to play for AZ Alkmaar, Ajax, Spartak Moscow, Anderlecht, and had 27 caps for the national team. After he joined Spartak, he said that his interest in football is almost gone and he was looking for what to do after his retirement, so he started his clothing company, Baller. I started it when I was in Russia after I felt that all the players sported the same branded bags and accessories, and I wanted to change that and create items that were more elegant. So I began looking with my business partner and came up with the name Baller. Right now the gross income of the company is $25 million a year. But how did they manage to get to those numbers without any big investors and being in blacklists of Adidas and Nike? In the beginning they sent their shirts to their friends. One of them was Daley Blind, who used to play for Manchester United at that time. When his teammates saw it, they asked to send them too. When Angel Di Maria moved to PSG and took a photo with Sheikh, it became a turning point for Demy and friends, because after that they received a lot of orders. Beside that, Demy de Zeeuw and Gregory van der Wiel created a 433 Instagram page that was originally supposed to be a marketing account for Baller brand, but outgrowth it and now is #1 Instagram page dedicated to our favorite game and brings around $40 million a year. Uli Hoeneß. He is a legendary figure in German football who not only played for Bayern Munich but also became the youngest general manager in the Bundesliga and made Bayern the most successful football club on the field and outside of it in the world. In his personal business endeavors, he decided to come back to his roots because growing up he was a son of a master butcher, and in 1985 he founded Hau Wurstwaren KG, a Nuremberg-based bratwurst factory. You can find their product across the European Union, and if you're ever going to visit the Bayern Munich game, you can try Uli's sausage right there. The company brings Uli around $60 million a year. Hidetoshi Nakata. Nakata was one of the first Japanese players to make a name for himself in Europe. Since 1998, he played in Serie A, won it with Roma, Roma and won Coppa Italia with Parma. After the 2006 World Cup, at the age of 29, Hidetoshi suddenly decides to hang up his boots. Football has simply ceased to inspire him. In 2009, Hidetoshi set off on a car trip from Okinawa to Hokkaido to see how people live throughout Japan and gain knowledge about sake craft. In 2015, he started his own premium sake label simply named N-Sake, and in the same time developed Sakenomi app. With this app, users can search for sake by type or brewery and get information like the flavor profile, recommend serving styles, and even the best drinking vessels and food pairings. Users can also post their own reviews and flavor charts for sake they have tried, which helps the app make new recommendations based on their preferences. All of this brings Nakata estimate earnings of $40 million. Julio Iglesias. He didn't have a massive football career, but he played as a goalkeeper in San Pablo University and was part of Real Madrid's Castilla team, where he played up until his car accident that left him unable to walk for 2 years. This terrible car accident smashed his lower spine and left his legs permanently weakened. While in rehabilitation, the nurse gave him a guitar so that he could recover the dexterity of his hands, and from that moment he realized that he wanted to become a singer. In 1970, he represented Spain at Eurovision Song Contest, where he finished in 4th place, and after that his career was only going uphill. Iglesias is recognized as the most commercially successful Spanish singer in the world and one of the top record sellers in music history, having sold more than 100 million records worldwide in 14 languages, and his net worth is estimated to be $600 million. Gordon Ramsay. Like Julio Iglesias, Gordon Ramsay unfortunately didn't have a big career in football, but he kept the mentality of the player in the kitchen. He had hoped to become a footballer and was first chosen to play under-14 football at the age of 12 and played in youth academies of Glasgow Rangers and Banbury United, but his early footballing career was marked by injuries. After a serious knee injury, he was forced to give it up. Ramsay's interest in cooking began in his teenage years because he didn't want to be known as the football player with the gammy knee, so he decided to pay more serious attention to his culinary education at age of 19. Ramsay enrolled at North Oxfordshire Technical College to study hotel management. He describes his decision to enter catering college as a complete accident, and this accident made him the most brutal and famous chefs with restaurants around the world with numerous popular TV shows, which in total makes him $90 million a year. Mathieu Flamini. The French player had a pretty exciting career playing for Marseille, Arsenal, AC Milan, and Crystal Palace. In his peak playing for Milan, he earned 1.5 million euros, which is a pretty good amount of money. Playing for AC Milan, the Frenchman met a man named Pasquale Granata. Together, they founded GFBO Chemicals, a clean energy business specializing in the production of environmentally friendly alternatives to oil. So they found out about levulinic acid, and their company became the first in the world able to mass-produce levulinic acid, a fuel made from plant waste that can be used in the creation of plastics. So far, Mathieu, Pasquale, and Santi Cazorla are not billionaires, but might become them in the near future. This was 8 players that became rich after football career. Let me know in the comments who I missed, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.